What's up, guys? It's Lord Both here for another video, and begun the CORPO wars have. That's right, in the wake of Nintendo suing the developers of Palworld, it seems the floodgates are starting to open as different gaming publishers and developers are starting to sue each other. Although with this particular copyright infringement lawsuit, you almost kind of see where Sony is coming from. So what exactly am I talking about? Well, this comes to us from Reuters, and it is entitled, Sony Sues Tencent for Allegedly Ripping Off Horizon Video Games. Yeah, that's right. Chinese Tencent, who you thought were the smarter half of the pair when it comes to Ubisoft, seem to be about as smart as the other guys. And now they're being taken to court by Sony for what seems like a pretty blatant ripoff when you take a look at it here. But as for the nuts and bolts of the story, first, Sony Interactive has sued Tencent for copyright and trademark infringement in California federal court, accusing the Chinese tech conglomerate of ripping off its popular Horizon series of adventure video games. Now, I myself would question whether or not Horizon is actually popular or just popular because it is a PlayStation game and in a field of first-party games from PlayStation when there aren't a ton of first-party games from PlayStation. That said, even if the game is good or not, it has sold very well. This from Push, Sony's Horizon franchise has sold a wild 38 million units worldwide. So yeah, the franchise is selling. And as such, it behooves Sony very much so to defend that franchise in a courtroom. And this from that same Reuters article. Sony said in a lawsuit filed on Friday that Tencent's upcoming Light of Motrium, I think that's how you say it, is a slavish clone of its games that copies several distinctive Horizon elements and threatens to confuse buyers. Basically, they're saying, hey, your game looks, feels, and sounds way too much like our game, so no, you can't put it out there. We did it first, and you're just copying us. You're gonna harm our sales and steal our buyers. Particularly because if you look at this Light of Motrium game, it kind of looks maybe a little bit better, despite the fact that it is probably one of those Chinese knockoff games. There's also history between these two companies. As the article continues, Sony said in its complaint that it declined an offer from Tencent to collaborate on a new Horizon game last year. Tencent later announced Light of Motrium, which Sony said features identical gameplay, story themes, and artistic elements to Horizon, as well as many other similarities. So these guys, Tencent, they came to Sony and were like, hey, let's work on a new Horizon game together, guys. You know, your big company, my big company. And Sony said, nah, fam, we're good on our own. So Tencent basically said, you know what? F you then. And decided to make their own version of Horizon. It doesn't look like they're going to get away with it, though. Because when you just take a look at the concept art alone, I mean, you have Horizon here and the Light of Motrium over here. I mean, it looks very... I mean, come on, guys. I mean, just the artwork alone here looks like a blatant copy of Horizon. I mean, if you just look at it, it looks like Horizon done in a more anime-like style of art. It doesn't look that much different at all. Almost as if somebody had just put an AI filter over the original art and called it good. I haven't seen a blatant copy and misuse of art this bad since Marathon. Now, Marathon was worse because the company was stealing art from an artist, somebody a lot smaller than them, when in this case it's just one corporation stealing the art of another corporation. But still, I think Sony, they're pretty much in the right here, at least on first glance. And it should be a pretty easy win for them in court. Because not only the art, but the gameplay, which I think I saw a little bit of, I don't know. I've never played the Horizon series, nor did I plan on playing Light of Motrium. But I think, if I remember correctly, I saw like kind of a side-by-side of the gameplays, and they did look pretty similar too. So I think it's going to be pretty easy for them to prove in a court that these games are way too similar for Tencent to put it out. But then again, we've seen time and time again, these Chinese companies win these kinds of lawsuits and put out their knockoff games. And the thing is, if Tencent had just released this game within the bounds of China, they probably could have gotten away with it. However, because the game is releasing worldwide, they've opened themselves up to bigger scrutiny and actual damages to Sony. Significant damages that can be accused of. And that's really probably why Sony has decided to take action here. And they're probably emboldened, yes, by the idea that Nintendo is suing Palworld. Although I would say that the copyright infringement makes more sense in this case, just because the copyright looks to be so blatant from top to bottom, and it's coming in before the game actually releases, that it could be enough to get the game shut out. Where in Palworld and Nintendo's case, the game had already released, and it was way more likely to be shut down, which is what I think Nintendo really want to do to Palworld, if they can cause havoc with the actual game systems. And to do that, they'd have to sue for patent infringement on the actual systems that are being used within the game. And we haven't seen other lawsuits of a patent nature since, mostly because that is a whole can of worms that I think the entire industry doesn't want to open up. But in terms of the copyright issue, I think you're going to see a lot more of that, and you're going to see a lot more of it even in cases that aren't as blatant as this one between Sony and Tencent. But those are just my thoughts on all this. If you have your own thoughts, go and leave them in the comments. If you liked this video, go and like, share, and subscribe. If you didn't like this video, I appreciate you watching it, and we'll talk to you again later.